Hi, I'm Dan Zeli, president of PMI Calumet chapter. And today with me, I have Greg Garcia, a PMP from our chapter. Today, we're going to talk about the importance of being volunteers. And one of the roles we want to talk about and feature today is mentors. So Greg, can you share with our viewers a quick background summary of your career positions, companies, organizations you have worked for?
Sure, Dan. It's so great to be with you and our great chapter members. I had the great pleasure of serving for 37 years in federal DoD space. I worked a lot of years with the Army and the Air Force and retired as a 3-star equivalent as the Deputy CIO and Chief Data Officer of our U.S. Army. I also had positions in the Corps of Engineers as the CIO, and I ran IT in the Pentagon for over 42,000 people. So quite an adventurous career. I retired and I joined Oracle about a year ago, actually tomorrow, and I serve as their industry director for federal government. What I basically do is translate the federal government to Oracle and Oracle to the federal government to really focus on mission outcomes for our citizens and our national security objectives.
Well, first of all, congratulations on your work anniversary and your career. Thank you.
Thank you.
Greg, when did you first get involved with the Project Management Institute? And then start pursuing your, way back when you pursued your project management professional credential?
Sure. I first came familiar with PMI and the PMP certification when I was the CIO at the Corps of Engineers. As you know, the Corps of Engineers is deeply involved in managing cost, schedule, performance across billions of dollars in civil, military, and disaster response. Our best PMs in the Corps of Engineers relate to me how PMI and the PMP certification really help them improve their skills, maintain their skills in managing these very complex problems and programs. For me, I had always relied upon the Defense Acquisition University trainings in program management. And so I really did not become familiar with PMP for myself personally until I started looking outside the federal sector in what industry brings into delivery of government services. And they all espoused how important PMP certification was. So that's when I started looking at what that would take to get my own personal PMP certification.
Wonderful. That's great. That's quite the journey on that one. The PMI certification requirements, the CCR handbook, such as for PMPs, they offer 2 ways to maintain your 60 PDU requirement in a 3-year cycle. I think one is by education and the second is by giving back. Greg, as a volunteer mentor, can you tell what it means to you to give back to the profession as a mentor?
Yeah, first, I would strongly stress it's important to do both. 1, to be a learner, and 2, to give back. So it's not an either or, and it really should always be a balance. With over 37 years of professional experience, I have succeeded, I have failed, I have done well, I've done poorly, but I've seen so much. Program managers are really art and science, and being able to not only study, but hear from others really gives you that perspective in the complexity that you need to be facing as a program manager in today's environment. So it's really important to be a lifetime learner and a lifetime giver-backer, to coin a phrase. It's diversity and breadth of experience that will give you insights to how to manage your program under the circumstances that you face. But people that have gone before you have experienced similar or near similar things, and for them to share their perspective, their thought ideas, and how to coach you through these situations is so invaluable, not only for the mentor to give back, but for the mentee to hear that great experience. So really, for me, it's about providing insight and hints to getting everyone to succeed.
Thank you for that. Whom are the mentees? Are they students, working professionals, or where are they in their career?
It's been really exciting for me because I've had them from just in school, junior school, high school, college, all the way through a peer SES that's like, oh my gosh, what's it like on the other side of federal service? So I've really been able to cover the spectrum of no experience, medium experience, high degree of professional experience, because again, it's really about self-reflection and helping those folks see themselves a little bit better. So honestly, everyone needs help. Whether you're a brand new PM or a seasoned PM, help is always required. Myself, I would seek out mentors even to this day to get their perspective and their insights on challenges that I face. So really, mentors are many times mentees in a different relationship. And that's the exponential power of having a mentor, is because they're taking input from the outside and that rolls right back into you to add value to the individual in time and space for their need. That's really the greatness of a mentor.
Thank you, Greg. I know personally for me, mentors have made a big difference in my life and actually changed my career path. As a young blooming industrial engineer into a manufacturing engineer, having the mentor encouraged me to seek those skills required for being a project manager. So, Greg, can you tell us maybe how do you work with mentees, and how do you, what kind of topics do you cover, or and such?
Yeah, it's great. That's a great question. For me, the primary goal that I espouse is for that individual I'm mentoring to have them do more self-reflection. I don't judge, but I want them to think through what their goals are to ensure that they're their goals. A lot of people get goals from different parts of their community, and they say these goals, but they maybe don't really realize what it means to achieve those goals. So my job really is to get them to focus on 4 main lines of effort. One is your professional career. What do you want to do when you grow up? And I always kind of do a 5-year, 3-year, 1-year look back. Where do you want to be in 5 years? The best advice I've ever heard is don't worry about your next job. Worry about your next job. Because if you focus too close on your next job, the options really may not be strategic enough to achieve the goals you have in the future. Second main area is your community. We all have professional lives, but we live in communities that need us just as much as our professional lives do. So focus on your professional life, focus on your community, and same kind of thing. What are your goals in your community? The third area I focus on is family. What do you want for your family goals? That could be your parents, that could be your grandparents, that could be your children. We're all in very complex family situations. And that fourth line of effort really is on the individual. Are you getting enough sleep? Are you getting enough rest? Are you getting things that fulfill you for what you want to do? And it's the balance of those 4 lines of effort that really are important. Your professional life, your community life, your family life, and your life. And the goal is to maximize the outcome of those 4 things with what we all have as the great equalizer, which is the 24 hours a day we get. And so what you got to do is, how do you allocate your time against your priorities to maintain balance and advance? So that's kind of how I break that out. And again, letting people self-reflect on how they allocate that time and the outcomes they're achieving and the outcomes they want to achieve.
And how often does a mentor and a mentee meet, and how long do you stay in contact with each other?
It's kind of fun. It sort of depends on the situation. I've had weekly conversations with people. I've had monthly conversations. I check in on people every couple of 6 months, or it might be a couple of years we go by. But really depends on where the individual is in their journey. And so it's really important to stick to a schedule. And so, I always say we don't meet if we don't have time to talk about, but we should just meet and confer on the schedule of our meetings. Because sometimes you think, oh, I don't need to talk to a mentor. And then you'll talk to somebody like, oh, yeah, well, I do have this problem. And then you do get insight. So it's really important to have that long-term relationship. And I've actually mentored people that maybe 2 decades ago, they're not on top of mind, and you'll get a note from them that says, hey, I remember when you told me this thing, and that just paid off because I just faced this situation, and I was thinking about, who's giving me advice on this, and I remember that idea, and it really helped me out.
Wonderful. Over the decades, about approximately how many mentees have you had?
Oh, that's a great question. I think, formally, probably 30 to 40 mentorees. Informally, I would say maybe 100. It's just been awesome where someone says, "Hey, can I call you every now and then?" And then, so I've been in the structured mentor programs where it's very structured about time and minutes and goals. And then I've been kind of in the unstructured one. It's just, "Hey, give me a call anytime you want a question." And it's exciting to have both ends of that. And I think it just depends on the individual, the situation, and finding what works best for both of us.
That is good. What are some of the most rewarding moments that you've had as a mentor?
Yeah, that's a great question because it just happened 2 weeks ago. So I was mentoring somebody in Oracle. As I mentioned, I work for Oracle, does a great job at establishing formal mentoring programs. And so I'm mentoring someone that's in the help desk area, and he's got the night shift, and we're talking about how to do well at work and how to balance work in the night shift and everything. And then there's sort of this overstaffing, and so he got laid off and just kind of came out of the blue for him. And so I'm doing my regular mentoring appointment. He goes, "Oh, I only have a week left. I've been laid off." And I'm like, "Well, that doesn't affect our relationship. Just let me keep mentoring you." And so I helped him review his resume. We got his resume sent out to a company, got a call back, and then we reviewed his interviewing skills, and he got a call back from the interview he had. And then he had to build this, mock presentation of some ideas he had to help in industry. So I kind of I was the audience for him and let him practice a couple of times, and he got the job. It was so exciting because here you have someone that's really trying to do well. And, life circumstances, again, there's hills and there's valleys, and you never know what's next for you. And really was in a valley and was able to come out for him, for his family, and continue his professional career. And it's just great to be part of that. You think about it's just a small role, it's a little small push, a little nudge here and there, and people are able to roll that into something special. That's what's really exciting about being a mentor.
Would you recommend the mentor program for, say, PMI Calumet chapter members?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think you got to remember that everyone is either being a mentor or being a mentoree. And for me, it's important to give both ends of that, right? So you just can't be on the receiving end of graciousness. You need to give back. And honestly, everyone could be a mentor. You might say some student that just joined, "I can't be a mentor. I don't know anything." Oh my gosh, you know lots of things. You have life experiences. You have situations that you face. And sometimes I remember, in being a CIO, when we went from the analog age to the digital age, I used to call young kids into my office and say, "What's this all about?" Right? I was the mentoree. I was a one-star asking some brand new person, "Tell me what you see and what do you sense?" And so we all can be mentors, we all can be mentees, and it's really important to do both. So I highly recommend it. It's rewarding for the individual that you work with, and it's also a great gift back to you.
Would you recommend that, or would you perceive other people joining up as mentors? And do you think they would benefit from this program? And
Yeah.
tie that back to how rewarding that was.
Yeah, it's really important because I think as a mentor, you actually learn just as much as the mentee. There's always a complex shift in what we do. There's always a new process in what we do. So for me, someone that's been in federal service 37 years might think, "Oh, you know everything." Well, maybe I don't, and guarantee you I don't. And so I will learn about techniques just as much as I'm giving knowledge on techniques, because the way programs are emphasized, for instance, sustainability, governance, diversity, these are all topics that have great ground swell, and really different perspectives help all of us understand that. And so I highly recommend, just dive into the deep end of the pool and jump in and be a mentor. And I almost can guarantee you're going to get as much out, and you're going to help some individual, some family really succeed, and our nation needs that.
Greg, thank you very much. We sincerely appreciate you taking the time today to speak with our members. And I hope you benefited from this opportunity to see what a mentor-mentee relationship is all about. If you have additional questions, please reach out to us at info@pmi-calumet.org.